1 in 7 purchase agreements were canceled last month. It's the second highest rate since April of 2020, which was during the pandemic when we saw a ton of cancellations. Redfin has recently reported this news, with Florida leading the nation in cancellations. Welcome to the Real Estate Rundown. Let's chop it up.
Yeah, wow. So is it because of inspections, or they didn't say any reason why people are canceling? They're getting cold feet.
Getting cold feet. It's about 14.3% of all homes that went under contract canceled. There's a variety of reasons. It could be inspection. Maybe a better house came on the market. You know, you look at Florida, there are more homes on the market than ever before in Florida. Keith, you lead our acquisition and disposition team. So what are you seeing on your end for cancellations?
Well, interesting on the resale side of things, we actually have had two times that I can think off the top of my head, but maybe there's another circumstance just within the last couple months of people not following through on the deal, still qualifying for their loan and losing their earnest money.
Wow. So
And
they're just walking away.
That's definitely not normal. So that was a little intriguing, but on, I guess, the positive side, we see more people accepting cash offers within our platform than we've seen since the beginning of the year. And there's a reason for that, probably exactly like the statistic, right? Buyers are falling out, they're being more picky. And so home sellers are like, I got to get my house sold. So what are some other solutions here? Yeah. So depending how you look at it, right? Maybe from a realtor perspective, it may be a double-edged sword. However, that just tells me that home sellers are looking for alternative solutions probably more than ever right now.
Yeah, because some of these home sellers are under contract to buy another house, and they have their house under contract, and they're like, okay, now I can go look, and they go get under contract, and then theirs cancels, and it's like it's just a domino effect. So, it's Zoodealio's Cash Plus is definitely a good option for them.
Absolutely. Well, if you're in the luxury market, you're definitely feeling a little bit of pain as well. Redfin reported that luxury home sales have fallen 10% to their lowest level in over a decade. And so the luxury market is just not moving like it once was. Definitely a lot of volatility in the stock market, a lot of volatility in investments. Is this having an impact on the luxury market? Typically, we see this market is a little bit more insulated from some of the economic uncertainty, but in the numbers, that is not what's playing out. So what do we think about that?
They're all buying Bitcoin. They're not buying luxury homes anymore.
Right? Yeah, they're like,
definitely
could be, let's think about some alternative investments right now for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%. Well, we've talking about how as a store of wealth, Bitcoin, crypto could be a transitionary period, especially for that upper end market, for the people that are wealthy that own multiple properties.
Yeah, you don't have to pay property tax on Bitcoin. You don't have to keep the lights on Bitcoin, or the water running, or the landscape done. It just sits there. It sits there and
grows.
He's pretty.
So Jason and I believe Elliot, he's not with us today. We're headed to the Bitcoin conference. Keith, you gonna join us?
He's gonna be amazing. He's gonna be partying.
No. I mean, I don't party anymore, but I'm gonna be partying with my 2-year-old.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That's always a good time.
Yes.
But it'll be interesting at the Bitcoin conference to learn more about some of the financial products that they'll bring that will allow us to leverage our Bitcoin for instance, real estate purchases.
For some real estate, yeah.
Yep. You know what's funny about these statistics? It really coincides a lot with what we see within Zoodealio with trends, because even with the quote unquote the luxury homes, we've seen a pretty big uptick within the platform of not only offer requests, right? People exploring those options, but also acceptances. So I think it's really cool, because we always have a saying within Zoodealio that, the Cash Plus offer, which is a structured sale within our platform. If you aren't familiar with what that is, without going down a rabbit hole, it is considered a luxury product for various reasons. And so it's really cool to see these luxury properties going, it's a great solution. I want to explore that and take it. So that stat is definitely holding true. There's a downtrend, but there's solutions out there for them.
Yes, and we love bringing offers and options to the marketplace. So if you're needing of a solution, whether you're a realtor looking for a client or a homeowner considering selling, go to Zoodealio.com and check us out. Little plug there. But now that maybe realtors have a little bit more time on their hands because sales are a little bit lower, let's take a look at this recent video that was posted by Bree in Tampa, Florida. This video has received a mixed reaction. So let's watch.
Well, 111 likes, like 111,000 likes.
111.
Oh.
111,000 likes already.
Jay and I haven't seen it yet, so we're first timers right now.
All right, let's go.
Of course, I'm in a gated golf course community. I feel like I'm at Donald Trump's golf course.
It's 4 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms. I walked in, I said, wow, that's a lot of bathrooms. Beautiful Tarpon Springs. How many square feet? A lot of people are asking. And I'll tell you, it's a lot of square feet. It's too bright, turn it off.
I honestly can't believe people call golfing a sport. You want me to call John Daly an athlete? No. If John Daly's an athlete, then I'm Mila Kunis. If golf is a sport, then pool is a sport. And if slamming a bunch of balls together is a sport, I'm an Olympic champion. How long have you worked here? They give you a 401k or... This is the perfect place to shower after you're done golfing. Rinse off that other woman's perfume so your wife can't smell it. They have a movie theater. Play Sydney Sweeney walking backwards. Play Ana de Armas kissing POV 4K. Play Sydney Sweeney jumping up and down. This pool is huge. I can see all the golfers in their pastel shorts. Smells like Sperry's just had a sale. Share this with one of your friends who plays golf every Sunday.
Okay. Wow,
You
okay.
guys get the point.
Yeah.
It's great. I mean, there's so many of these videos that are just like so boring. Like, come on, come check out this house, you know, and then they, you know, look at this beautiful foyer, and like it's lame, you know, you want to turn it off.
Cindy
But
Sweeney jumping up and down.
I don't know who Cindy Sweeney is.
Yeah, I don't
You,
either.
you guys would if
I
you
don't.
saw her. You would
Yeah.
if you saw her. But the reactions, though, are like, who would want to buy a house from a foul-mouthed realtor like this? That comment got over 2,000
come
likes.
on.
But then there are also people that are like, hey, you're my realtor. When I moved to Florida, I was not prepared for how good that impression was. The comments are
was pretty
awesome,
good.
but they're all over the place. All over the place. So
Hey, humor's good. Humor's good for real estate. I mean, it's funny how people will bash her, but then they'll go to the movies and watch,
yeah.
you know, R-rated movies. It's everything's F this, F that, and but then, you know, it's, they expect her to be like, oh, she can't be funny. I think it's funny.
It was funny. It was good. She did a good job. Pulled in a lot of like culture. I just think that you have to know yourself, and if you're willing to take those risks, take them, because your vibe will attract your tribe. But then you got to be careful, because is that really the tribe you're
the tribe
wanting
you
to
want?
attract?
Yeah, if you do something like that, you definitely got to own it and not apologize, or, hey, if you didn't like it, you know, that's okay. It's not for everybody, but I'll attract the people that I want, just like you said, and in your tribe. I thought it was cool. It's a definitely a unique way to showcase a property. I mean, was that the whole video?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just maybe being overly analytical, but she could have went a little longer and stayed with the whole accent and delivery of that, and maybe showcase the property longer and better. But I get why she didn't want to drag that on and just put the comedy in it as well. But yeah, I mean, I've never seen anything like that, so that's pretty funny.
She's definitely getting a lot of eyeballs on the house.
She is getting a ton of eyeballs. So now that there's more time for realtors to get out there and make content, what is the type of content that they should be making? I mean, property tours obviously are a win, especially when done correctly. What else do we think?
I mean, anything that gets the views, right? I mean, that's what you're trying to get people's faces on the property, or their eyeballs on the property. So she did a good job.
Do you think that this sort of thing helps? Like, okay, so let me see how many views this video has had. I won't pull it up.
I guess if you're from that area, probably. I mean, obviously, there's probably a lot of people that aren't from that area or not looking for a house in that area that are watching this video because it's going viral. But
I don't know if this is the same one, but
This
there's.
house has more bush than my mom in the 80s. 3 bedrooms.
Yeah, so clearly that's just her vibe. Wow.
that
Okay,
was hilarious.
I just pulled that one up on a whim. This house has more bush than my mom in the 80s. I mean,
That was great.
so true. 3 million views on this. So she is raking in the views with these catchy headlines, these hooks. And again, like this is controversial. Like there are other realtors that are sounding off on her saying she's going too far, she's taking it too far.
Yeah, those are the ones that are getting 100 views, 111 views on their videos.
Or not
They're just
doing,
jealous
or
of it. I mean,
or not doing them at all.
Yeah, or not doing them at all. So just hating,
Yeah.
haterade.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny because it doesn't matter what social media content you make. Like there was, I don't really watch him anymore, but when I was extra in, you know, to like souping up my Mustang and all that I don't currently have anymore. There was one guy that would make the way that he would do them was way different. And then he wore a hat that said, "I love haters," because they spread my videos more than the lovers. And that's the truth.
Yep.
And so it's like, you know, you gotta love both sides and embrace it.
Yep. You don't gotta watch it if you don't want to.
Very true. The hate comments, like I feel like if you're monetized, every comment just like makes you a little bit more money. So just probably like bring it on.
Bring it
Yeah, that's funny.
But yeah, I definitely think that making content is key. I love the house tours, educational content, and I think just answering the questions that are keeping people up at night when it comes to buying, selling real estate. How do you know what those questions are? Well, you probably get them day in and day out. And we used to tell agents when they were making content, like any question you get asked more than once from someone, that's a video. And so, you know, if you can just record those moments and then make content around the things that people ask you all the time, I think that's such a winning formula. I feel like we overthink a lot of this in real estate. But if you have time on your hands, no doubt, get out there, make some content. What else should realtors be doing right now? Because, you know, we know that things are a little bit slow. We know that, you know, home sales are falling out of escrow. What else should agents be doing right now just to arm themselves for the rest of the year?
I mean, I think that's it. Is making content. I mean, connecting with people, right? I mean, that's how. I mean, I'm sure look how many comments she got on these videos. I mean, those are conversations she can have with all those people. Mm-hmm. Those are thousands and thousands of comments that she can reply to and communicate with people. And if you're having more conversations with people, you're going to get into more sales contracts. Mm-hmm. That's just how it works. So, how do you have more conversations with people, or go onto their content and have conversations with other people? I mean,
Hijack.
Real estate.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, for sure. What do you think, Keith?
I think always pivoting and being with the market of the moment's the best thing to do. And right now with, you know, uncertainty in the marketplace, I guess, if you will, and the interest rates still on the roller coaster ride, people wondering if they're going to be cut this next month, making as much content around selling your house non-traditionally, so to speak, and making cash offer content. Like if at this point, if agents are not doing that, I genuinely believe you are dropping the ball. Mm-hmm. Because everyone wants to know what their house would sell for without selling it traditionally. And I think that even if you're not, you know, as out there as that particular person, or even if you have more of a serious personality, you're not, you know, super funny or bubbly, just making at least good quality content about it would attract people. And I think you would see a big increase in your business. There'd be a lot of people interested in knowing what they could do.
Agreed. And I know that a lot of folks, realtors, are making cool content around the home report and how to draw interest into those insights, such as what are my cash offer values. You know, I think that it used to be when you went to look at the value of your home, you just looked at like that market value. You would look at like the Zestimate and see, okay, that's what my house is worth. But I think that there's no better way to know exactly what your home is worth than what a cash buyer is willing to pay today for your home. And so through the home report, we have agents that are really delivering those real-time insights to homeowners and then using those moments as a hook to build their email list and kind of, you know, do that. We saw a few weeks ago, Facebook went and they removed all realtor links. So if you had used, you know, for instance, like a conversion site or a sync site and you had squeeze pages that went to different properties, well, any third party link Facebook removed. And so realtors like en masse were freaking out because that is one of the primary ways that they're marketing to future clients and prospects is through Facebook, through like, you know, advertising a link and gathering that information from people. Well, that's done. Like we can't do that anymore. And so what a better way to build your email list than use a juicy hook like the things and the nuggets that we provide in the home report. So it's pretty cool. You mentioned interest rates, and we all know that we need a little bit of relief on the interest rate front.
Come on, Jerome.
Right? So I was just looking at the poly market. I was looking to see if they're, you know, what.
You had it.
I had it, and then
Let's go back.
the Fed cut. Let's see. Will the Fed cut?
23% said no. Wow. One cut, 22%.
Well, this is how many rate cuts in 2025.
Yeah, but,
Let's
but
look.
23% says 0 in 2025. So
What is happening? Because just a month ago, sentiment was a lot different.
the bond market's blowing up.
Yeah. And so now that we have the bond market blowing up, the likelihood of the Fed cutting is diminishing.
Yeah, because I think if they cut, I mean,
Inflation will just go through the
it's
roof
gonna
again.
that's what they're afraid of. So we'll see. We've never seen this before.
We've never
It's
seen
interesting because obviously you have our current administration basically saying opposite. It's the borderline has to be done. Lots of digs going on to the Fed right now.
Yeah.
Which I agree with. I think they do need to cut them. It'll make the market explode in a positive way. I believe maybe not the housing market's going to explode, but the financial system will, and I think that would be healthy.
Yeah, it's so interesting to see what's going to happen. There's no doubt, though, that the housing market is starting to finally get worn down, right? We know that pending home sales were canceled at a really high rate. Luxury home sales are down. Prices are depressed. And I think we're in price discovery, right? So,
But don't forget, Bitcoin hit all-time highs. So there's that.
There's a different way of it.
It's still, it's pretty much sitting at its all-time high right now. So
it's in
we
price
know what
discovery.
happens next.
what happens? So talk to us. So Bitcoin's at about 110.
Yeah. Prior to this, it was in the 110s again already. Yes.
Yeah. So the previous all-time high was in January of 2025 at about 109. And we busted through to about 112 last week.
112, yeah.
Now we're back settled at about 110. What can we anticipate for Bitcoin pricing in the future?
I think it's going to like 150 by the end of the year, I would say.
150 a coin.
Yep.
I think it'll be 150 by the end of July.
Woo.
Yeah, it could be.
Oh, wow. That's a very bullish. And we're talking $150,000.
And there's, and again, right, nobody holds a crystal ball, but there's sentiment out there with the real believers, and also these massive institutions that are putting an absurd amount of money in Bitcoin. Like, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Like, a lot of people think it'll surpass 200 by the end of the year.
Yeah.
I think it's possible. I don't think it's airy-fairy.
No.
I mean, there's retail that are selling to these institutional buyers right now, and institutional buyers are never going to sell their Bitcoin. So like, I don't think people realize
They
that
will keep
they will
that.
keep it, and they're going to leverage it in the future. That's what
Right.
this whole thing is
That's-
about. They're trying to gather as much as possible before they can start leveraging it, and now they can leverage. And then once they can leverage it, they're never going to sell it. Why would you sell it if you can leverage it? If you can just get a loan off of it, you keep it, and you get a loan off of it. So once those products are coming, and they're coming fast, and the people with the most Bitcoin, I mean, you're going to see it just skyrocket, because these institutions are not going to sell. They're going to hold on to Bitcoin forever.
Well, I think that what's exciting for me to see is the financial products come to market to where, the average retail holder of crypto and Bitcoin can then utilize that to do things like purchase real estate. And so I think that that's what's so exciting for me. And one of the things I'm looking forward to about the Bitcoin conference is learning and discovering more of those products.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an exciting time for 2025. If you're in that world, and if you're not, definitely look into it. It's the new 401k.
Well, and it's, the interesting thing is it's where, if you have a 401k, likely whoever's the holder of that money might be using Bitcoin as the store of wealth
Well,
long
if they're
term.
investing in the S&P 500, they already are, because Coinbase is there. So
True. And Coinbase,
and
that was
Coinbase owns
recently, right?
Bitcoin. Correct.
Like
yes.
last week before?
Yep.
Exciting stuff. I just love seeing all of the tides turn and good things happening, interesting things happening. If you have anything to add to the conversation, be sure to leave us a comment, smash that like button, and ring that notification bell so you're updated of our new episodes. Thanks for tuning in.